reducing it by 25 cents, okay? And we're end up cutting it in half, okay? Do we have 25 cents to give here and still be profitable? No. We're going to be at a loss, and we're going to be at a loss by the difference between 25 and that number. Are you with me? Yeah. Yeah, okay? That's how you understand financials. You do. The accountant does the detail and does all those journal entries and debits on the window side and all that stuff. You want to understand this. Oh, okay, 49%, that's good. 18% at the bottom line. For a manufacturer, 18% at the bottom line is really good. Believe me, trust me, that would be great. Any going into industrial engineering that didn't fess up? This is your bread and butter. This is what you do. Okay? You make sure that that happens. All right, so that's an income statement. This is just a snapshot, and don't worry about not seeing the numbers. That's a monthly income statement, and that's what you want to look at. You want to see that every month, okay? That gives you detail that you wouldn't otherwise see. One of the things that we can draw from that is we can answer the question whether or not this business is a seasonal business. You know what seasonal means? You do, it fluctuates with the season, okay? Like, you know, if you're in the lawn irrigation business, it fluctuates with the season, right? Is this business seasonal? Where would you look to find that? Let's go with that first. Okay. Yeah, the top line. What's your name? Caitlin. The top line. Okay, look at the income. And forget about the two different things. Just look at the total income. And tell me whether or not that business is seasonal. You got a 50% chance here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is. And you know that because it starts off, I hope this is still small enough. This is 68,000, and it stays that way for a few months, and then it jumps up, and then it jumps up again, and then it drops down for some reason in the 10th month, and then it jumps back up. Okay, these are exercise sets. If I was a speculating kind of a guy and a betting guy, and I am a betting guy, I would say that that means out here, you know, those are holiday sales. Okay? That's what that's telling you. That's how you look at this stuff. You can get an amazing amount besides the numbers. That's the insight. Those numbers are the data. And just like a lot of things that you all do, the data is just a beginning point. It's pulling the insight out of there that's of value to you if you want to be a manager. Okay? Yeah. People will hire you because you've got an engineering degree. People will hire you for more money and better jobs because your engineering degree is from Purdue instead of Auburn, for God's sake. Shade Tree Mechanics says they might be. Okay? But ultimately, they're in business. And they're business people. And if you know about business, when you walk up there to interview, they will hire you even faster. That's not me talking. That's fact. Okay? So, that's why you want to know that stuff. So that's what a monthly spread. Is the company seasonal? Yeah. Cash flow answers the question, are we cash flow positive? Because we know that's important. All right? Cash is king. Don't ever run out of cash. Okay? Now that means you can borrow money. You can have a line of credit. Anybody know? That's a question I ask here later. Oh, it's down there. Anybody know what a line of credit is? Anybody that wants to talk know what a line of... Yes, sir.
It's like kind of a loan that you can say, hey, I need more cash, and it's kind of like unquestioned, like they'll give you a certain amount of cash when you need it.
You said it, yes. You said it up front. It's questioned up front. And you said it, okay, up to $50,000, up to $100,000 or whatever. Okay? But you pay an administrative fee to set it up, right? It's a few $100s usually. But until you borrow some, you don't pay any interest. And then if it's a $50,000 line of credit and you borrow $10,000, you don't pay interest on 50, you pay interest on the 10. It's a smart way to borrow money, particularly if you have a seasonal business and it's short term. That's what a line of credit is. Okay? Fair enough. So this business about run out of cash, that's one of the things that you got to do to make sure you don't do that. Okay? Because if your revenue bounces up and down, they're going to have short months and you still got the same expenses or close to it. There's some fixed costs. So that's why you go to the bank, get a line of credit, and hopefully you keep it. Okay? All right. Fair enough. So that's cash flow. If we started the year at $100,000 in the bank and ended with $25,000, is that a cause for concern? I don't know if we've gone over enough yet, but let's think about that for a second. We started off with $100,000 available cash flow statement, and at the end of the year, available cash was $25,000. Is that absolutely always, I'll give you a hint, ring ring clue phone, always a cause for concern? Could there be a situation where that wouldn't be a cause for concern? Yes, absolutely. That just means you spent some money, okay? Doesn't mean you spent money that you didn't have, all right? So you start off with the $25,000 or whatever it says, and then you go again. That's okay. You can't keep doing that, all right, and spending more than you're bringing in and reducing that balance. But for a month or whatever, it's okay. It is all right. So that's a cash flow statement. Ending cash balance, just like we saw before. Cash outflow, what we spent money on. Ending cash is 66, what is that, 522, and that jumps up to here, and we go through the drill again. That's a monthly cash flow statement. When you're managing your business, you're going to want to look at the income statement and the cash flow monthly. Balance sheet probably monthly, but at least quarterly. Okay? Questions so far? Okay. Two other things that you should at least know the concept for. Concept. Balance sheet, I think we've covered enough, is why I was going to skip over it. Maybe we should cover a little bit more. We covered the first part. Assets are what you own, liabilities what you owe. Okay. This just goes into a little bit of detail. Notes payable. Wonder if I could do that. Probably can't. Can I? Nope, I can't. Yeah, I can do it that way. Notes payable, is it an asset or a liability? Notes payable, asset or liability? What do you think? I showed you it earlier, but just intuitively. Okay, you're the bank, I'm the business, I owe you money. Asset or liability? Liability, okay. Cash in the bank, asset or liability? Asset, okay. Inventory, is it something that we own or something that we owe? Is it an asset or a liability? Asset. Oh, we got it. All right. Real estate, definitely an asset. Rest of them are straightforward. Income taxes payable, just like a note payable. It's a liability, okay? And it's to the government. Do not mess with them, okay? They will come after you. Accounts receivable. We have sold people and said, you've got a month to pay us. Okay, it's not due yet, but it will be due and they'll pay us. That's accounts receivable. Is that an asset or liability? This is the only tricky one on there. Asset, yeah, and you can sell it. You can go to the bank and they factor it. You might get 97 cents on the dollar, but it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. Okay, so fair enough. Boom, balance sheet. Now, I covered that. All right, some ways to keep your business healthy. All right, accounts receivable, collect your money. Somebody's out there, they got your money and they owe it to you. You've already done what you promised. They haven't done what they promised. Collect the money. All right, fair enough? That's step one. Step two, your payables. Negotiate favorable terms with suppliers. Okay, if they're going to offer 30 days, ask for 45 days. Okay, I just had a fellow come in and talk to the classes last Thursday, and he's got a business. And he doesn't manufacture anything, he just designs it. He's an engineer. He's an aerospace engineer that basically designs fancy toasters, believe it or not. Okay? But part of his story is this. He negotiates a deal with the manufacturer where he doesn't have to pay them for 30 days. Okay? And he negotiates, or puts in the contract, he doesn't negotiate, puts in the contract with the buyer, the person to whom he's supplying this, that they have to pay in 10 days. Can you see how smart that is? He never has to use his own money. Okay? His customer is going to pay him in 10 days, and he's still got 20 days to pay his supplier. On a scale of 1 to frickin' outstanding, yeah. He didn't graduate from here, but he could have. Yeah. I know he could have. He's a German engineer. He's a serious engineer. So, that's what we're doing here with this. Accounts payable, negotiate favorable terms. Inventory, keep it as low as possible. When you bring inventory in, there's like 3 or 4 things that can happen, and only one of them's good. Okay? I bring it in, I do stuff with it, and I sell it, and I make money. That's good. I bring it in, it gets damaged. I bring it in, it becomes obsolete before I can sell it. I bring it in and somebody steals it. All of them bad. So just having it there costs you money. It's money you could be using to do other things with, if that's an English sentence. Okay? And it could turn to junk. Okay? So keep your inventory low. Control your expenses and establish that good line of credit. Okay? Set it up. It's just like getting a credit card and paying it off on time on a personal basis. Establish that line of credit. Use it every once in a while, even if you don't need to, for a little bit. That $50,000, use it for $10,000. Okay, and then pay it off. And you do that kind of stuff so that when you need $100,000, you're going to get it. Unless it's 2008 and 2009 and the entire economy goes into the hopper and then nobody could get a line of credit. True story. Almost nobody. Pardon?
It's a recession, so.
Yeah. But think of it this way, all right? You're in business. You've been in business for 7 years. You've been doing really well. I can't see that clock. I've still got a few minutes. You're doing really well. You've been hitting plan. You've been working with your banker. They're happy with you. You're happy. You're cash flow positive. You're all those great things Stroh told you to do, right? And you've been doing this for 7 years, and it's 2009, and you get a phone call, and I'm the banker, and I go, hi, what's your name?
Margaret.
Margaret. Hi, Margaret. And you say, hi, Stroh. Yeah. I'd say, hey, you know that line of credit that you got for $120,000? And you go, yeah. And I go, it just went to zero. I'm sorry. Click. I don't hang up rudely, but I say that. And I mean it. And you were just planning on buying a new truck. You were just planning on expanding a product line because you were doing so well and you had all that cash flow. And now you can't. External things like that, you can't help it. Okay, you can plan around it for alternatives, but you need to understand that sometimes it just happens. Stuff happens.
Well, doesn't that mean you shouldn't really rely on like a line of credit? Like it's a good backup, but it doesn't seem like that should be like a...
It shouldn't be your only one. That's exactly what it means. You need alternative sources. Okay? And part of that is that retained earnings that you've built up. Don't put yourself in a situation where if that doesn't happen, you're totally out of luck. Yeah, that does mean that. Okay? Where am I here? Boom. Find, recruit really good people. Here's the trick. Develop them, invest in them, train them. You want that to happen when you go out and get a job. Do the same thing for your people. Here's the dirty little secret. It is simple. Simple is not easy, but it is very simple. Find, train, hire, recruit the best people you possibly can. They're your best asset. They're your best competitive advantage. And treat them so well that even though they could go anywhere else because you've helped them become that good, they don't want to. It's a trick, but it works all the time. I'll give you one example and then I got to close because I don't want to keep you over. Any of you use Zappos? Everybody bought from Zappos.com? Okay, they start off just selling shoes. Now they sell all kinds of stuff. Okay, and they're owned by I just went blank. Amazon, okay? But the guy that really started that has a passion for customer service, okay? If you call Zappos, you get a person. Call me crazy. Yeah. And you know what? They're not on the clock. But most call centers, you know, you got 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you're supposed to turn it and churn it. And that's why they're on that script and you get frustrated because they're not really answering your question. They're not even listening, okay? At Zappos, that person is there to help you. Their job is to solve the problem, whatever it is, okay? They are not on a clock, all right? You've got to really work with people to train them to do that. You really do. And Tony Hsieh did. And he started his business near San Francisco because that happened to be where he was. And he had a call center. And the business grew, and it grew, and it grew. And he had about 80 people, 80 to 85 people. And they needed a new call center and a bigger call center. And he stepped back, as any smart business person would, and said, I don't need a better, bigger call center around San Francisco. I need a better, bigger call center, period. Where should it be? And the answer to that question was Las Vegas. It was and still is. Okay, I won't go into why, but it was. It is. So he wanted to move his business to Las Vegas, and he did. But he went and he got all the employees and he said, folks, we're doing really well. Oh, because we're doing well, we need a bigger place. You're the reason we're doing well. You're the only reason that we're doing well. So everybody who can and wants to move with us to Las Vegas, I will pay your way. And he did. Now some couldn't. You got a spouse working, you got situation, whatever. But almost everybody else did want to, and he paid their way. 85 people from San Francisco to Las Vegas. That was not a small ticket. Find, hire, train, and treat them right, and you'll never go wrong. You will have cash flow like you wouldn't believe. Fair enough? There are a couple more slides just so you know that they're here. Here's some resources, okay? There's some books. All you engineers are going to like the Lean Startup, trust me. And anything by the Heath brothers. This is Switch and Innovators DNA. That website, if you bookmark that for whatever, if you've got an accounting question, that is basically an online textbook that's free. And it's really easy to navigate. So if you've got an accounting question, that'll get you there. All right? Fair enough? Okay. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it. And for those of you that played along with me, I appreciate that too. All right. If you've got questions, let me know. Like I said, you'll have my contact information when you get that. Have a good one. Enjoy. I think EPICS rocks, by the way. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, bye.